Stu and Dave Do America presents Liberal versus Caitlin Bennett.
If I identified as black, would you affirm me in that and call me black?
No.
Why not?
Because you're not black.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. Okay, if I said I was a man and I said I identify as a man, would you accept that and affirm me in that?
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. So, someone's been led down a very confusing path, Dave.
Look, as a black woman myself, I feel that he could have answered the question a little better.
Yes. Really.
I feel it stung me personally.
You're a beautiful black woman, by the way.
Thank you. BBW, they call in my community.
Yes, they do.
Or big, beautiful woman. Either way, I like them both.
All right, good. That's good. Well, apparently Graham Platner likes him as well, in all sorts of shapes and sizes. The problem with him and his approach is, the whole consent thing. It doesn't necessarily.
Yeah, he doesn't like a firm yes.
Does not. So let's look at this deal in a little bit more depth than I'm at all comfortable in doing, and do the end of Graham Platner. Welcome to Stu and Dave Do America. It is Stu Burguiere along with Dave Landau.
Ahoy, and we meet again.
Thank you, Dave. Now, if you would like to see a beautiful black woman do some stand-up comedy around the country, where can people go to find that, Dave?
This weekend, they can see me in Huntsville, Alabama at Levity Lives, July 17 and 18, Springfield, Missouri at Springfield Comedy Club, and July 25th, Farwell, Michigan. It's Rock, Michigan Red Fest. I'm going to be with Ted Nugent, and my good friend Michael Loftus has just joined the show. So check those out. Also, look at that right there. So check that out. Come out to that show. It's going to be a lot of fun. You get Nugent, you get me, and then there's going to be other people too. So come out. What about you, Stu?
Predictableshow.com is the place to go. We're going through our kind of our rules for the road, the Constitution, the predictable Constitution that is going on right now all week long. And we get into the Graham Platner thing and how you can play that on the prediction markets because there's plenty of ways to do it. I will tell you that. Check it out, predictableshow.com. And, of course, join us on Blaze TV, blazetv.com/Stu and Dave. The code is Stu and Dave. There you get the entire community here at Blaze TV, all the shows, all the different stuff that we do. I think you're really going to like it. So join us. blazetv.com/Stu and Dave. Before we get into the Graham Platner new situation here, Dave, I want to take people back in time just a little bit. I mean, sure. I don't know, Dave, you have a great memory. You wrote a great book about your childhood. I don't know if you could remember this far back. I'm talking going all the way back to June 10th, 2026. This is going way back in history. I don't even remember, you might not even remember what life was like back then. Did we have the internet? Did we have automobiles yet? I don't even know. But I will tell you, sure. I'll take you all the way back to June 10th with Mika Brzezinski talking to Graham Platner. Watch.
So you say there's nothing out there that could be concerning. And this may seem a little bit rich.
There's nothing out there. I just want to make this clear. There's nothing out there that's actually concerning. People will make everything seem very concerning because that's what people do in politics.
Yeah, that's what they do, Dave. A lot of times they will make rape even seem concerning.
Yeah, some people got a real dog whistle kind of a way about that. They want you to get the message, but it's not real. Unless, of course, it's very real.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Of course, you have to remember June 10th is when he had already been accused of that, as well as being on a website that possibly had minors on it, where he was wearing nothing but a towel. And we had found out that he covered up a Nazi tattoo with another tattoo and had told many people about it. But people still brought children to ride bikes with him right after that as part of his campaign.
It's good parenting, let me tell you, Dave. And I was saying when I was watching that clip, It reminds me of the beginning of every episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where, you know, they'll be like, you know, they're in the middle of some scandal and be like, I'm gonna be rich, and then it's you know, Sweet D gets bankrupt or something like that. It's always like disagrees. The next headline disagrees with what they just said. And when I was watching that video, I was thinking, oh God, there's nothing really concerning. And then this headline: exclusive, woman who dated Graham Platner says he sexually assaulted her. So that's where we went. Immediately there. It is,
you know, when they were talking about him beating women, again, talking about him being a Nazi, I just thought, you know, regular working class fella going out there and being a go-getter. But this accusation, this seems to be the problem, the straw that broke the camel's back. All of the other stuff, you know, you should just keep him running.
You're really hitting a fascinating point of this that I've been obsessing over for the last 24 hours, Dave. I want to get into this in a second. Let me just catch people up if they haven't seen this.
Please do.
You have all the accusations Dave talked about. You have all the Reddit comments that were, you know, he made crazy comments on Reddit, which were all over the place, anti-Semitic, racist, all sorts of things. He did things to himself inside a porta potty that I would rather not discuss. There's a long list of problems, and everyone was totally fine with that. This one then comes out. The woman's last name is Rassicot. She said she had an on and off relationship with Platner, who is now a Democratic Senate nominee for Maine, for more than 2 years before he entered her rural Maine home uninvited one night in late 2021, deeply intoxicated, and forced himself on her while she repeatedly told him to stop. She said she cut off contact with him after telling him that the encounter was not consensual. Now, this is a story that we did not know all of these details of until yesterday. But we did know in the initial thing that we talked about, Dave, and this is after we first took down Eric Swalwell, then we said we had to get to Graham Platner soon. When we talked about that,
we were right.
And we were right. When we first talked about that Platner story, this story was included in the story. This woman was included, and she said he came over to the house, and and I didn't want him there, and he was reckless and dangerous, I think were the terms that she used, but she wasn't specific about what happened. In the story, she is specific about it. She says he called, said, I want to come over. She said no. Came over anyway. She was in bed. He came into the house, didn't, by the way, talk his way in, and then they had a conversation, and it turned into this. He just opened up the front door of her house and came in without her knowing about it, and then climbed into bed with her. I think first actually was on the couch and then wound up going to bed with her. She said no multiple times over and over again. He did what he wanted to do anyway. All the gory details are in the actual Politico story. So this is not, you know, I don't like even the headline. The headline says, woman who dated Graham Platner says he sexually assaulted her. That term, you know, might be legally correct here, but I mean, really, it seems like a euphemism for rape. Like isn't that a questionable one? If this is true, this is a straight out rape. It is one of the worst crimes you can commit in our society.
Yeah.
And it's not like near a line. It's way, way, way over it if it's true.
Yes, and I don't see how he's going to be able to go forward. Has he stopped yet? Because at this point, the Democrat Party is just a bunch of, they really are just damaged women who are ignoring red flags at this point. The entire party. If they let this continue to go, that's the reality of it. And what's he going to say if he wins? You wanted it, bitch? That's not a good campaign promise at all. It's a terrible way to go about it. It just, this guy.
God. Somebody's got to make the poster, the Graham Platner campaign poster with that as the slogan. That has to be done immediately. I think AI will be useful for something today, Dave. That's incredible, because that might be. Yeah, that's this new slogan. I think we got to make those up.
And there's no way thank you. There's no way he's not just going to do the thing where he's like, oh, I'm going to retreat for a minute and think about what I did. Yeah, of course you are. That's what you're going to do. You're going to give it a good hard think. This guy's exactly who we thought he was. We called it out now 2 months, month and a half, 2 months ago, I think, when we started bringing it up. And he's just, he doesn't belong there, and I think the Democratic Party needs to stop allowing everything to go through until finally you get the final one where they go, okay, you're right, that might be enough.
Yeah. No, I mean, there couldn't have been more warning signs, more red flags on a candidate than this one. And they kept, I mean, they didn't want him to win initially. They tried to nominate a different candidate. That didn't work out. The people of Maine chose Graham Platner, despite the fact that the Democrats even said, hey, you should try somebody else. But the far left wing did embrace him. The Bernie Sanders, the Elizabeth Warren, the John Favreau from Crooked Media, all these people love this guy. They said don't worry about his problems. They said, yeah, sure, but nobody's perfect. We played all these clips. It happened over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And this is
Elizabeth Warren said he was, I believe she said he's my kind of man, which I assume is just anybody who would touch her. So, I mean, she may have been accurate.
Yes, I mean, there's not a wide variety when you're looking for her kind of man. I suppose that's true.
Yeah, I'm not saying that she's not. She's a handsome woman.
She is,
and I realize that's not about looks; it's about power. But I mean, you'd probably go for looks a little.
You'd hope so.
Above Elizabeth Warren.
You're saying it. Oh, so you're saying, okay. Let me give you his actual response here. What we got after all of this came out was what you'd expect, the Eric Swalwell hostage video. Here's a little clip of that.
I wanted to directly address the troubling, serious, and false allegations against me.
Look at this guy.
Any accusation of non-consensual behavior is categorically false, regardless of the inaccuracy of the reporting, but mindful of the political reality it will inflict. We are taking the time to reflect on the best path forward for the state that I love, the people that I love, the movement I belong to, and the goal of defeating Susan Collins. Those were the goals when we launched this campaign. And they remain my goals today. As Maine goes, so goes the nation. As always, thank you.
First of all, it's not even true. Maine's way up in there in the corner. That's not how the rest of the nation goes. What do you mean as Maine goes? All they're doing is they're lobsters and oysters. And I mean, it's a totally different world. That's not true. That's a total side point, but it's not true how Maine goes, how it goes to the nation. And I will say, watching him try to talk his way out of this, I mean, that is, honestly, I believe Swalwell more, I think, than actually Platner in that video.
Oh, I do too. I mean, at least Swalwell, I think, was tricked by the spy. I don't think he knew from the beginning. He's just sitting there going like, oh, Susan Collins, I mounted her on a pinball machine. People cheered it on. Am I thinking of the right thing? I can't remember.
Poor Jodie Foster.
You know what? I'm gonna dress like he's dressed like he broke into the house to record that video. He's sweaty. It looks like he's sitting in front of my mom Donnie's desk.
It would be great if you, like, in the background, you just see pictures of the woman he was with. You're like, wait a minute, is that her house?
I think it's her home.
Holy crap. This guy's really dedicated.
I've broken into her home to do this video.
Well, actually, we know what happens whenever anyone breaks into a Graham Platner home. He actually said,
we do.
I forgot about this. When he said if someone breaks into the home, he would rape them. I think He may have just got his directives reversed here. He broke into the home and then raped the woman. That apparently is supposed to be a little bit different, but that does not inconsistent with his previously discussed approach.
Well, allegedly, that is what his lawyer is saying, was he was very intoxicated and he thought she had broke into his home and just does what Graham Platner does. So it was just a misunderstanding all around. He was simply protecting his belongings that turned out to not be his.
This is why they sometimes in politics do make a big deal about rapes, and I just don't understand it. You know, it's like, gosh, a little misunderstanding. What could possibly go wrong? I want to show you.
His first words were, "Where's the man of the house?"
So wrong. Okay, let me show you, because if you don't think this woman's credible, let me show you. She's out there. She's talking about this. And one of the big reasons why she's come out with this secondary story, Dave, is because of what happened the first time. The first time, she was part of the New York Times story, but her story was buried in like the 30th paragraph of that story from the Times, largely because they focused on another woman, a separate woman, who did have serious allegations against Graham Platner, but was also provided the left an excuse because she was a Republican and she had ties to Republicans, and therefore they could dismiss all of this and just say, oh, well, they're just trying to hurt him politically. Here is the new accuser. She's not new. Again, she was in that first story, but the new accusation that seems to be sinking Platner's campaign. Here she is talking about her political views. Watch.
There are going to be people, maybe even his campaign, certainly his supporters, who say this is politically motivated. What would you say to that?
I couldn't disagree more. That was actually one of the reasons that I didn't come out.
Because you agree with his politics.
I do. I really agree with his politics. I think we need somebody with those political stances and who are willing to do the work. And, I see his political videos. They get me fired up as well. I understand why people want someone like him in office. And I felt like me coming forward would potentially take that away. And I felt really uncomfortable with the responsibility and the weight of my story and what that might do.
And, look, Platner, if you're going to stay in the race, you fight it. And, typically that's the end of it. And you just say no, you deny everyone telling you that you have to drop out, and you keep pushing through it. It's happened a few times. I went through some of the examples on Predictable, but like when you say, I'm going to take some time to think about the political consequences of this, it certainly seems like it means that he's going to step down. It seems like this is leading to him eventually bailing out of this race.
Yeah, I think he will. I mean, even that last video shows believe all women if they're a Democrat. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's important to the party. That's really, all you can get out of it. I mean, her story is very authentic. At least it seems that way. There's, like I said earlier, like they try to, you try to poke holes with the press and media will try to poke holes into any one of these stories. This just seems like a very real story. It doesn't seem to be made, who knows? I think, well, not who knows. I think that she's telling the truth. And I think his history and track record should show that. And he should step down. There's enough creeps in politics. We don't need more of them. And especially if this is just what's risen to the top. Yeah. I can't even imagine what he's done. He's a creep. And to keep giving these people jobs, it just doesn't make any sense to me. We waste the taxpayers must pay so much money to sex offenders and sexual offenses, we don't even realize it. It's got to be half our budget at this point.
I know. It really is amazing. I mean, I maybe it's too much to ask. Can we reduce the amount of rapists in the government by like 15%? Is that possible? Can we do something like that as a starting goal? Because it doesn't seem like I'm asking for too much there, but apparently I am.
You are, because then all the other rapists have to then say, well, we got to throw some to the wolves. Yeah. And then there's one guy who doesn't do it. It's a real mess. But yeah, they do need to do something about it. Like, this is enough that people who want power, and even the smallest amount of power like this, seem to have this weird track record with a crime that involves wanting power over another human being. And it's disgusting. It's either you do want to work for the people and you want to make a difference, or you just want power over people. And I think if you're the latter, it's going to come with a lot of negative consequences and a lot of baggage that's terrible anyway.
Very, very true. I want to get into some of the media and how they are covering their asses, honestly, about this, because they all vouched for this guy. They all, even when they asked questions to him, they made it seem like, okay, well, look, everyone has their problems, and he, look, PTSD. I mean, like, the best case scenario for this situation is he was absolutely destroyed as a person and became a horrible person for a very long time and has turned himself around. I don't see any evidence of that whatsoever. But I mean, in theory, the best case scenario is that he used to be a dirtbag and now has not. But let me show you Chris Hayes and Rachel Maddow. Now, these two people are important because Hayes did the interview. And I gave Hayes credit. He actually asked a couple of decent questions, but was generally wasn't following up as much as I would have liked. No surprise there, of course, with a Democratic candidate. But I thought he did okay in that interview. But now that all this is out, they're allowed to admit what they were thinking at the time. And here they are covering their butts days and days later, Chris Hayes and Rachel Maddow.
I'll just say that I didn't he basically said no, but I didn't necessarily feel like that no was 100% convincing. Again, this is me just like reading body language and making a personal judgment. It's not because I have inside knowledge, just the way that you react. That no felt like a little wobbly. I'll just say it. I think other people who heard the no felt like it was a little wobbly too. And I think, that's obviously borne out.
Yeah, and I will tell you just when you did that interview, I listened to it live on Sirius XM as it was happening. And on that point, which you were very insistent with him on, I was like, that doesn't sound like a categorical clear no. And I went home and watched the tape version of you do it because I wanted to see him give his answer too. And
it's interesting, Nick, because you brought this up earlier and I wanted to get to it, is that I don't understand why everyone's calling for him to resign. If you believe this woman the first time she came out, you should have been calling for his resignation then. And if you didn't believe her then, what makes you believe her now? It's the same woman with the same story. She just added some details to it. I mean, it's like the same situation largely. I understand the reality of the situation is they don't care about any of these women and they care about winning this race and power. And that's who they are. But like, what's the in-universe excuse for them changing their minds? Like, what's the canon reason as to why they've decided to flip-flop on this guy in 24 hours when all we do is have a new, slightly more detailed accusation of the same story from the same woman?
That's the part I don't understand. Are you getting information that it's actually worse than this? Do you know something that we don't? Because it is the same story. This is accusations that have been made. You've been aware of his character, and now you have Rachel Maddow and the guy, I don't know who the guy in the glasses is. It looks like he can smell Rachel Maddow and he doesn't like it. That's all I know from that clip. But the two in it, they're now backpedaling on it, and I think that's the real problem. Is they're so dedicated to attacking the other party under any means necessary and saying the worst things about anybody that's all they go off of. They don't really report news or care about it, like you said. There's no accountability. There's no actual journalism going on where they even looked into it. That's the part too. They just reported like maybe this happened, but we like Graham Platner. Mm-hmm. Well, did you research it at all? Because you would have seen a lot of reasons why he shouldn't be there. The thing on the account with that kids could go on should have been the number one reason to be bothered by the guy, even up till now. It should still bother people that's there. But now all of a sudden they're backpedaling, and it doesn't add up to me because it's the same story, and I guess they're covering themselves, but they have people so brainwashed that they can just say, don't worry about it, it's fine. Don't worry about it, it's fine. And then all of a sudden it's too much, and they have to act, I don't know. Look, I think we should maybe look into this a bit, or just forget it ever happened. We'd really like you to not talk about it again. Pretend we ever brought it up.
Yeah.
Let's find a new candidate, because that's all it really is saving their own asses.
Yeah, it really is. And it's pathetic. And by the way, I think it was Donna Brazile, the former CNN woman, Democratic activist type, who came out and said, he really needs to go back to his home. He needs to drop out. He needs to go back to his house. He needs to be with his family. He needs to heal from all of this. First of all, it's not him that needs to heal from the rape. That would be her. That's actually, when we're talking about rape, it would be the woman that would need to do the healing. But in addition to that, and I don't want to end on this point because it's a little bit, I don't know. It doesn't bring up positive thoughts, but I just want to point this out. There is no go home and hang with your family and become an oysterman again. There are two paths forward to this. One path is he's a rapist and needs to go to prison. That's how you deal with crimes like this. We are within the statute of limitations. If he did this, he needs to be investigated immediately and hopefully thrown into prison, I'd argue, for the rest of his life. If that's true and they can prove it and they can get more evidence, at the very least, investigate it to the fullest extent that you can. The other option is this woman is lying about him and he should not drop out. Those are the two paths forward. If he is telling the truth about this, it's ridiculous for him to step down. I would be angry with him. If I was his wife and this was not a true story, I'd say, yo, you need to stand up and you need to fight for yourself here, because if not, we're the family of the rapist. Every time I walk into a freaking restaurant, they're going to be like, oh gosh, that's the woman that's married to the rapist. Like, you need to fight for your name here if you're actually innocent. And if you're not, you need to fight against being raped in prison, because that's where you belong. Not a very positive.
No, I know, but it's true. It is true. If you didn't do it, I've never understood that. If you did not do it, you push forward. Mm-hmm. You can have people come forward with any accusations you want. They can their arrows can black out the sun, as they say. You just keep going forwards. You do not step down. It's obviously an admission of guilt, and it was before. It was the same when he was asked a question on the clip you played earlier, and his response was, I mean, nothing serious. I mean, nothing. Nothing. I mean, yeah, you're going to hear a lot of stuff, because that's what people do, is they tend to talk about when I assault them. But that doesn't mean it's real. He's never had a defense, because we've known from the beginning, he seems like this kind of guy, and now it's coming true.
Look, you're going to hear about a rape or two. Sure. That's just the way he is. That's just the way to. Before I got, because I don't want to end on the rape point, if we can help it.
Why?
Why?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But everybody's bailed now. The last one to bail was Bernie Sanders in politics. Elizabeth Warren's gone. Everyone said, step down, step down, step down. Bernie held out for as long as he could. He doesn't seem to care about anything other than getting socialists in power. He's even bailed on him. The only person sticking by him at this point is who? Stephen King. Maine author Stephen King defends Graham Platner amid assault allegations. Here's his tweet. Graham Platner may drop out. I hope he doesn't. But meanwhile, the abuser in chief just keeps on keeping on. Also, he tweeted this. I'll tell you what, if you knew the whole truth about everyone in the Senate and House of Representatives, those chambers would be dead empty. Jesus said, let him without sin cast the first stone. This is pointed out, though, in the community note, Dave. This is referring to Graham Platner, who's been accused of rape. In John 8:7, the woman to be stoned to death was accused of adultery, not rape. It is understood to be a powerful statement against hypocrisy, not a free pass for politicians to rape women. I mean, community notes is the best thing on the internet. I will say that.
Also, I would like to say I get all my Jesus quotes from Stephen King.
Right.
I feel that if anybody knows the good book and the word of Christ, it's Stephen King.
Mm-hmm, sure. By the way, before we go, I just want to tell people to go to our YouTube page, youtube.com, search for Stu and Dave Do America. Below, all the shows that we do on a day-to-day basis are a bunch of the old sketches from Normal World. Is that where people can find your Stephen King sketch? Because it's absolutely incredible.
Yes, if you type in Stu and Dave Stephen King, that will come up. Yeah. Or even Normal World Stephen King. You can check that out. It's about the book It and the middle of it specifically. Yes. And it's completely true. So if you have any idea of Stephen King's feelings towards a lot of this stuff, you can just see what he's written. And when people go, come on, man, it's fiction, you're like, shut up.
Yeah,
that doesn't count.
And totally unnecessary to the story. He wrote some really weird stuff in it, and I will leave it at that, so you can actually go see that for yourself. We need to take a break. There's a heat wave going on in Europe, and it's 78 degrees in every apartment in New York. People are frying to death and deciding to do this for some reason. We'll get to that in a second. Nobody wakes up and says, today's probably the day someone tries to mess with the title to my house. But that is exactly what criminals are hoping for, right? They want those opportunities. They don't need to haul away your furniture or move into your living room. They can just get stolen personal information and target your home's title. And it's going to be a lot more valuable, frankly, than your coffee table. They can do a lot of stuff, and it takes a lot of time to straighten it out, if you can even straighten it out at the end. That's why Home Title Lock is worth knowing about. They monitor your home's title. They can alert you to any changes that could signal fraud. And if your home is your biggest investment, which it is for most people, you got to make sure you protect that. You need the same kind of attention, I would argue even more than you already give your bank accounts and your credit cards and your online passwords. Use the promo code Stu and Dave at HomeTitleLock.com. HomeTitleLock.com. The code is Stu and Dave. You get a free title history report, a free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection. It's 24/7 monitoring of your title records, urgent alerts to any changes, and if fraud does happen to occur, their U.S.-based restoration team will spend up to $1 million to actually fix it for you. So go check it out, HomeTitleLock.com. HomeTitleLock.com. Use the promo code Stu and Dave, or you can use the link below. It's HomeTitleLock.com. The code Stu and Dave. Well, Britons have been ordered to remove their air conditioning from homes in 40 degrees Celsius heat under net zero crackdown. I don't want to sound like Nate Bargatze here, but like, what is 40 degrees Celsius? Nobody knows. I have no idea what that means, but I think it means it's hot. So it's hot, and they're trying to crack down on this because they're worried about global warming and they're worried about energy usage. And so they're telling people they need to get rid of this air conditioning. Now, Dave, this is the thing that happens every year. Tens of thousands of people, I'm not exaggerating this, tens of thousands of people in Europe die every year because of heat exhaustion and heat-related illnesses and different variety of ailments. And yet they continue to argue that you should not have an air conditioner, that you should just roll with it, you should deal with it. And part of it is based on this really weird mythology in Europe that they believe air conditioning is bad for you because if you come in from hot weather into very cold weather, it will give you this, I think they call it thermal shock. It's this weird thing that there's no science behind it at all. It's just a totally made up thing. And they're just sacrificing tens of thousands of people a year to this weird god they've created.
I got to tell them, as somebody who's gone in from extreme heat into a nice, cold, air-conditioned home many times, the only shock is the advent, should I say, of the air conditioning. I mean, it's amazing that it exists and that you have the ability to use it. So I just want to say, go for it. Exactly. I don't think saving tens of thousands of lives is best by killing tens of thousands of people. It really doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Even if, I would just say go for it. Just see, and maybe if you don't want to have thermal shock, don't put it down to, say, I don't know, Celsius. 5 Celsius, that seems like that would be cold. So if it's 40 outside, maybe put it to 20 and see if it makes a little difference inside of your apartment.
Yeah, I will say, as a person who lives in Texas, there is a thing where you go in from, it's 108 degrees outside, and you walk inside and they just have the air conditioning just jacked up so high that it feels incredible for a little while. And if you sit in there long enough, you start getting a little cold. This does not, by the way, affect your health in any way. It's just, you just hear me whining about it every once in a while. And mostly, other than that, women whining about it constantly. That is the real situation here. Air conditioning is, I mean this honestly and actually literally, a miracle. It is a miracle, I believe, directly from God, who has displaced the knowledge into human beings, into Carrier's head long ago, and has now made it so the southern part of the United States, Dave, actually is inhabitable. People move here because of air conditioning. It was almost impossible to live here for a good chunk of our history. It's an incredible invention. It saves hundreds of thousands of lives per year, and the stupid Europeans are just, almost literally lighting themselves on fire to avoid it.
Yeah, I agree. It's there for a reason. Use it. It's the same as hot showers. Those weren't around, I want to say, until the 50s. Maybe I'm wrong on the date, but I think it was maybe 40s or 50s where hot showers were commonplace, where you didn't have to cook your water if you were rich before you got in it. It's like the first year of the hot shower. So why would you just not do that? Because someone told you to? There's no reason for it. And Mamdani turning everything to 78 degrees, that is not to protect you. That is just a lockstep test towards socialism to see if you're all willing to do it.
Mm-hmm. By the way, this is a real story. Mamdani gets roasted after telling sweltering New Yorkers to set ACs to 78 degrees. commie is what people were saying. I thought of it as like, no, this is actually just the warmth of collectivism in action. He said that's exactly what he promised, and now you're getting it. This is the warmth of collectivism. You get your air conditioning set to 78 or 80 or 82 or 85, whatever it is, and you deal with it. That's collectivism in action. We have this incredible, I was going off on my patriotic rant the other day about capitalism, and I just freaking love capitalism, the things that it's brought to us. But this is a great example of it. This is saving lives. This is saving elderly people's lives. There's been years where 40 and 50,000 people across Europe have died in quote unquote heat waves where it's like 89 degrees. And there's no reason for any of this to happen. Like, you could put an air conditioner in your window for like $100. And it will keep you cool enough that you don't die. I mean, you don't necessarily have to have it at 64, but I mean, this is helping people live. And in New York, they're trying to do this. I don't think people are going to listen to Mamdani, hopefully, because they don't want to be controlled. This is America.
No, I agree. And I hope they don't. And I hope he realizes that they never will. I hope that whatever this is, as far as the people go, however he got in, I just hope it backfires completely. And I mean, of all the things to work on in New York City, I'm sure turning everybody's thermostat to 78, that's going to stop homeless people from throwing Asians in front of trains.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to really take down the crime rate. I mean, there's really not a lot of things you have to tackle there first. Let's worry about the heat wave and making sure everything's 78, where there's no proof that's going to do anything for anybody, except him going, it's going to be easier on our grid. Really? Is it? I've lived in New York during these sweltering conditions, and it's never been a problem.
Shouldn't be. I mean, again, we could certainly improve our grid, but that shouldn't be a problem.
We could improve our grid, but I don't think that's going to do it.
No, it's certainly not, and it's not going to help at all when it comes to global warming either. I will also say, if you've ever been to New York City in the summer, it already smells. Like, it already is the most pungent city you'll ever go. Like, there's urine almost everywhere. There's weird, you go by particular storefronts and they've cut open weird animals you've never seen before, and they're selling them for meat. And the whole place already smells a lot. And then you add in a bunch of really sweaty people on top of that. Man, I mean, it's already a tough place to visit. It gets even worse.
Yeah, it's gross. It's a gross place. And then it's humid from the river, and boy, it is disgusting. So everything's sticky and wet and smells terrible. So the one thing you might want to do is go home and turn on the air conditioning to say, I don't know, a nice cool 72, which is apparently a problem. It's not. If you're in New York, just you pay the bill. Set it to whatever you want to. It's your freedom.
I will say in Mamdani's defense slightly, I mean, they're like, he got elected, right? They're like, oh, they elected me. Now they seem to like soccer. Maybe they'll roll with this too. I mean, it's possible that is his thought process here, but I don't think anyone's rolling with 78 degrees.
It says plus it's 180 in whatever desert he's from. Right. So, I mean, I get that maybe it feels cool to him, but for us white folk, I don't think so.
Another amazing convenience of capitalism is DoorDash. Not that it doesn't occasionally have problems. We have a video of one of them. We'll show you that next. We all know that AI is going to soon take over and start a robot holocaust for all humans. Until we get to that human-free utopia, they're really helpful little creatures, and they help us deliver food. They help us do all sorts of incredible things, including these DoorDash robots. Now, if you've never seen these before, I've seen something similar in Los Angeles when I was out there one time, and there's just they're these little robots. They'll just go around the streets just like normal. No one's with them. They will cross the street. They will wait at lights. It's really amazing. And DoorDash, I guess, is implementing some of these in some of their markets where they will deliver some of the food from these different restaurants to you. Doesn't always go well, though. Sometimes there are problems, especially when there's an ongoing legal situation, sort of a SWAT team situation going on, this time in Phoenix.
A tense SWAT situation near Phoenix gets an extra added complication. This DoorDash delivery robot, who decided apparently it was ready for its close-up. This is Dot the bot, rolling up, stood its ground, and refused to leave. A DoorDash technician had to be called in to remove Dot from the scene. Robots are often used to maneuver through standoffs and other tense situations. The difference here is they're invited. Dot the bot and whatever goodies she was carrying was not.
That's sad because, frankly, that's what I want out of my DoorDash order. I want them to power through anything to get me my food. So I'm totally on board with Dot the bot here, but apparently not allowed to be in the middle of a SWAT situation, Dave.
By any means necessary. That's what I say about my DoorDash. I don't care if it is a hostage situation. I ordered it. But I will say we're living in the dumbest Terminator prequel ever. Worse than you could ever have expected. And it's tragic. And really, if it was a real DoorDash delivery person, they probably would have just asked to be shot.
It's certainly possible. Certainly possible.
I would.
I like this approach from Dot the bot. I mean, I want if I order Taco Bell and Dot the bot is bringing it to me, I want Dot the bot to crawl over corpses to get to me. I want it to. If it has to take out a machine gun and take out everything in its path, that's what I want out of my DoorDash experience.
I was just going to say, if Dot the bot is armed like one of the RoboCop robots that kill everybody at the conference table, that's fine. I need him to get to my doorstep.
It's true. And I want it there before it's cold too. It needs to, like, drive-through is too much work. I wanted to sit in the comfort of my own home, press a few buttons on my phone, and then Taco Bell or whatever else, Wendy, whatever you're ordering, just shows up at the door. That's the end of it. I don't want to have an interaction with a human being. This is why I like the robots. I mean, I'm already completely embarrassed about what I've done when I've ordered from Taco Bell. I don't want to have a human interaction with that person.
No, part of the paying $168 for $12 in Taco Bell because you're too lazy to go get it yourself, which I do all the time, might I add, is the anonymity. So the lack of judgment from a robot is appreciated.
Very much so. All right, we got to take a break, come back on the other side. And now I want to order Taco Bell. Buying or selling a house is one of those experiences where everybody suddenly becomes an expert, right? Your neighbor has advice, your cousin has advice, the guy at work has advice, Dot the bot has advice. Half the internet has it as well. Problem is, none of those people are actually going to negotiate your deal. That's why I like realestateagentsitrust.com. It's something that Glenn Beck built, a nationwide network of agents who have proven they know what they're doing, whether you're buying or selling a home, selling the one you're in, whether you're doing both at the same time. They'll connect you with someone who understands the local market, who communicates well, and knows how to avoid expensive mistakes. A good real estate agent isn't just there to unlock the front door for some open house. They're there to help you price the home correctly, to negotiate intelligently, to spot potential issues before they become costly surprises, and guide you through a process that's complicated, even though, even when everything goes smoothly, it's still a complicated process. You need someone on your side. When you're making the biggest financial decisions of your life, good advice is really, really nice to have. Having the right person in your corner is even better. realestateagentsitrust.com. Go there, get the best agent in your area right now. realestateagentsitrust.com. If you're into this Graham Platner thing, we have the prediction markets tell you a lot of information about this. So they can tell you about, is he expected to drop out? Who will replace him? What's going to happen with the Senate? All that stuff. We go through that on predictableshow.com today, youtube.com/@predictableshow. Dave is going to be all around the country. Don't forget about that. At davelandau.com, the list of events coming up, plentiful to go see Dave all around the country. And of course, blazetv.com/Stu and Dave. Save $20 off your subscription to Blaze TV.
Do it.